So it's Sunday, the 21st of March, 2021. Today I'm just going to go through our what we do to get our seeds going. So we use the Jiffy pellets, and they come with the dome, humidity dome, and the pellets, and instructions on what to do. So the other things I have here are inside the humidity dome. I have flags all ready to go that I'll put into the pellets once they're full of water, and I've got the seeds in them, so I make sure that I don't mix any up. I also have some little glass bowls here, but you can use anything, it doesn't matter, just so that each pellet has its own little container as I'm wetting them, so I don't soak them too much, because the instructions say to use a certain amount of water, and I kind of stick to that. I also have my seeds over here ready to go, and kind of importantly is my water is at room temperature, and it's also dechlorinated, and it's pH'd. So I'm starting them off without any chemicals and at the right level of pH. So I've added the water, and I'm just waiting for them to now soak up that water, and then we'll start working on putting the seeds in. Okay, so you can see what the pellets looked like before they were wetted, and after we finished wetting them, they've grown up. What I'm going to do with each one of these is I'm going to take my toothpicks, and I'm just going to open up this fabricy kind of coating that they've put on these, so I can spread open a little hole here that the seed's going to go in. Okay, so I've opened them all up so that the little fabricy stuff is open, and you can't see it very well, but I've loosened up the peat. They've got a kind of dug hole right in the middle. I've loosened it up so that the seed will fit in there easier, and then I can just cover it over with the peat that I've loosened up. So we're going to be growing 8 seeds outside. We'll start them inside for almost 2 months, maybe a little shy of 2 months, before we put them out on the May 2-4 weekend or around that time. We're only putting 8 plants out. They're all photos. We're going to supplement our photos with some autos that'll kind of fit around the outside edge. But anyway, the point I was getting at is that we're doing 8, but I'm going to put 10 seeds in. Although I've only ever had 1 seed not pop, I don't want to take that chance, so I'm going to put in a couple of extras just to be safe. And they're going to be 2 of my most favorites. All right, so the first seed I'm putting in here is White Widow. I'm going to go quickly through the rest of them. I'm not going to show you exactly what I did, but the White Widow, I put it in that little hole. And I'm just going to barely cover it. You can see I put it down maybe at the most 1/4 of an inch, and just lightly covered it. Lightly covered it with the peat. So now I'm going to put my flag in there. Then I'll transfer that to the humidity dome once I get the rest of the seeds done. Okay, so I've got them all, the seeds all in, and I've got them all flagged so we know which is which. I can just barely see that seed under that soil, so you can tell what I do is I put them in and very lightly cover them so it's not pressed down, but just so that the soil is touching and I can still get air too and water. So I'm just going to cover that one up a little bit better because it's not covered well enough. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just using a toothpick to pull a little bit more of this peat over. You can see how broken up and loose it is. There we go. That's all it takes. So now that I have them all in my Jiffy Pot dome tray, I'm going to give them just a little spray of water, just to make sure that the top parts that I've been working on have been exposed to air for a while, because I had some problems actually getting some of these seed containers open, so it's dried a little bit. Not that it would be enough to make any difference, but I like to be, careful. So I gave them a little spray. Now I'm going to get some paper towel and douse the paper towel so that it's quite damp, not dripping wet, but damp, so that if you did squeeze it, you would wring water out to keep the moisture in here. Right, so I've given this one, it's one of those double sheets. I've sprayed it enough so it's almost see-through. If I were to squeeze this hard, I would get water out of it, but I'm not going to. And I'm just going to place these around. And that helps to, I don't know if anybody else does this, I find that it works really well to maintain the moisture inside the dome. Okay, so you can see that I've kind of fluffed up all those pieces of paper towel so that there's lots of air contact with the wet, so it helps the moisture to not run out. So I'll put the lid on, and then I'm going to cover this whole thing in a black towel. I'll double wrap it so no light will get in loosely. And every day I'll come here and check on these probably twice a day to make sure that the paper towel isn't drying out, and at the very tops of where the seeds are isn't drying out. I'll give them a light spray sometimes if I think they are, but I will definitely not douse them with water, you know, using a dropper or anything. I find the sprayer does a really excellent job. So when I was putting those seeds in, I used a spoon. I just poured one seed at a time out from the package into the spoon, and used the spoon and a toothpick to put it into the peat, because I don't want to touch them. I don't want to contaminate them. So the least amount of contact with anything other than a sterilized surface is the way I go. So what I didn't show you was what we have here. So we have a 707 headband. We've got a Chem Dog, 2 Lemon King, CBD-Zol, which is CBD. It's 21% CBD and less than 1% THC. Then we've got a White Widow beside it, and then 2 Original Skunk and 2 Pure Gelato. So if something doesn't pop, we have a spare. Hopefully everything pops and we can give 2 away. Alright, so I just laid my humidity dome tray with the dome securely on it. Make sure it's on there good. And then I just take my bath towel, center the tray in the bath towel, and I flip it over one side. And I'm just doing this loosely. I'm not, you know, binding it down with tape or anything. The whole thing is, it's a clear top, so with my black towel doubled over here, I'm not going to get any light coming in. And then I just gently flip the ends over or under, and that's how I leave it for a few days until they start to germinate. So that's it.